it's me, Renee. I'm back. And today I got a library haul for you. I was waiting a bit because I think maybe I might go another trip to the library, and I thought, Renee. No, no, no. You have a lot of books you haven't read yet you own. You have other library books, and the amount of time you go to the library borrow all of the books, and then don't have time to read them or aren't in the mood. That's a lot. Also the library is there whenever. You can just go back and get it later. So yeah, it's like no, I'm not gonna borrow more. Also, next week I'm going on holiday, so I can't like take my library books on me that. Well, I can take some, but yeah. So yeah, this is a little library haul for you. First, we have Durden elisrael by Gareth P. Jones. So it's of course translated. In English, it's blah 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 blah. Ha! It's one of those times where it's exactly translated. So in English, it's called Death or Ice Cream, which is what this means. Död eller iskrem. And I actually started this one today because I kind of was in the mood to try it out. And so far, it's, so good, so good. It has that absurd, serious weirdness from as you expect from Gareth P. Jones, but also funniness and it's just also so original. It's like you can't really say like, oh, I read this before. I suppose you can say like, well, it's similar-ish to Gareth P. Jones books, or like it's similar-ish to a series of fortunate events, like in some elements, but like for most part, I would say this is pretty original. I can't really say I have read anything like this at all before. So, I'm still just one chapter in, and that says something. But yeah, kind of a fun, quirky, different book to read in the summer. It has ice cream, so summer themes. But yeah. Then The Love Interest by Cal Dietrich. So this book came out a few years ago, 2017, 18, let me check it out. 17, 17. And I remember first people talk about how, oh yeah, this book is coming out. Sounds so good. It's supposed to be so good. And then when it came out, it got some mixed reviews. But what often happens with me, like I like try to keep up like what people are saying about different books, how they like them and stuff. And like sometimes if bookstore A, B, and C doesn't like these books, I'll make a notice that I don't like those books, but I won't remember why they won't like it. Like I remember this after a while having like more what's the word again? More of a either you liked it or you loved it or hated it, but I can't remember why people hated it. So that's kind of interesting. I suppose I could simply just Google like controversy or like uninterested around this book or bad reviews around this book. But I kind of don't want. I kind of just kind of want to read it and then maybe check out afterwards what the dealio is. Well, I suppose you can comment in the comments here and tell me like, oh yeah, it's goes blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I suppose I won't say don't tell me. It's not a problem that way. But I don't really think I want to check it out myself. I kind of want to go into blank-ish. It's been a few years now, and it's kind of been on my radar. It hasn't really been in one of those books that I felt like I have to read it. I haven't read it. Oh my god, I should read it. But it's been a book that's kind of been on my radar. So I kind of thought to look at the story at the library. I thought, you know what? Why not? Why not? Then Smoke and Eaters. Smoke Eaters. It's not Smoke and Eaters. By Sean Grigsby. So this is I'm thinking it's urban fantasy. Okay, so the summary starts with firefighter Cole Brannigan is on the verge of retirement, which sounds pretty normal and fine, like everyday thing. After 30 years on the job, a decade of that fighting dragons. There comes fancy element into it. But then he's immune to dragon smoke, and that starts a whole new thing. So I'm not quite sure if this is like high fantasy, like in the way that I'm not sure if this is a world where dragons are like in London and New York and all that stuff, or if it's a high fantasy where you have firefighters. Because I don't really feel like I often see or hear about high fantasy books where you have firefighters, policemen, or something like that. You often you might have like sheriffs, maybe you might have, or you might have like law enforcers, but I don't really feel like you would use the word policeman or firefighter. So again, what do I know? Anyway, that just sounds cool, and yeah, it's kind of a book I just kind of got on random, by impulse. So yeah, um, Current Memory by Elizabeth Beer. So this is a steampunk book. I started actually slightly last week, and like the first page anyway, like it's written like very like dialect-ish, like in sudden way. And for me, I don't. Please don't take this as me having anything against dialects, like in English or whatever. Like I have nothing against Bostonian dialects or Southerners who say y'all and stuff like that. But it's more like when books are written that way, it kind of grinds my gears. I can't say exactly why. I think, yeah, I just kind of think often that kind of works much better for me in audiobook form. And yeah, I kind of didn't know before I bought it, but well, borrowed it. But I still have heard good things about this book, so I'm thinking I'm gonna try a bit more and see. And if not, maybe I'm gonna try to get it on audio and just return this one. But yeah. Norwegian book. Paradisets elendige av Farten Horgar, which is kind of, it's not really a Norwegian kind name, but yeah. So this is a first in a series of 5 books, I believe. 6 books? Yeah, 5 books. Set in 1700s. Yeah, 1700s. And it's about something that's not really well known and it kind of become relevant lately. But yeah, it's set during the slave period. And people often talk about, okay, how all the Brits had slaves and all the people in the United States had slaves. Well, the slave trade wasn't only a thing that Americans did, they did it also like in Latin America and yeah, different parts of the world. And also, sadly, Norway, Denmark was actually also part of the slave trade. Well, in that time, Norway was part of Denmark, so that's Norway, Denmark, which is kind of how you would describe it. So yeah, this is about the slave trade. Like it's historical fiction, but it's like slave trade from a Norwegian point of view. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm pretty sure also it's actually one of the few books that's kind of about that. It's not really something to talk about at all in Norwegian history or like Norwegian media. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this is. I actually started slightly, and so far I'm not really liking the writing style, but I want to try more and see if I mean, sometimes you get used to the writing style. Sometimes it's not like it's not an all be all. Sometimes it gets weird, but you get used to it soon. But yeah, so this is gonna be heavy, I'm thinking, but also important and interesting. And yeah, Erica James Blomsterårene, which again it's translated. It's not a Norwegian book. And Dandelion Years is the English title. And yeah, as I said before, I work in a bookstore, and Erica James is one of those authors that's often sold a lot and talked about a lot about. Oh, talked a lot about. She's talked about like if you like Lucinda Riley, read this author and then this author and this author. So I thought like, you know what, I kind of want to read her and see like what she's all about. And so far, I'm enjoying it. I've started I was about to say last year, yesterday, in bed. So I'm just kind of 2 chapters in, but so far I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's not awful as Sally. I love the other books kind of tend to be, but this so far is good. Though with my luck, it could start good and then just kind of and then badness. But yeah. So yeah, I suppose it's a library haul. So I suppose also can simply talk about how I also got 2 audiobooks from my library. I've gotten uh, The Goddess, My Goddess. I think it's My Goddess by Guy Branum's autobiography. So I only know him more or less from he went on 1, 2. I think he went on a few episodes. Yeah, a few episodes of Gilmore Guys, and I enjoyed him there. So I thought, you know what, I want to listen to his autobiography. So I got that one, and then I got 2. I didn't. Suddenly I'm blanking. I just remember the one. So yeah, okay. I'm just gonna end it there. I hope you have a nice weekend. If you have any thoughts on the books, if you have any cool books you got for the library lately, talk to me in the comments. Bye.